Let's do this.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Daily Devotion with Beez. I am your host, Beez the Chaplain. For those of you who are on Instagram Live, this is live. For everyone else, unfortunately, because I'm heading out to the office today, I'm heading out to the prison. This is a pre-recorded message for the people on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. So when you get this at 9 o'clock, maybe you won't. No, this is live now. It's live everywhere. Well, okay. For those of you who expected to see it at 9 o'clock, just go to the link. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I just completely forgot. I was supposed to do a pre-recorded message and then kind of do it live at 9. No, well, not live at live, but broadcast it at 9. But yeah, since I just didn't think about it, I just did my normal thing. It's live everywhere. So I expect not to have anyone watch because it's 10 to 8 in the morning. People are probably on holidays. They're probably wrapped up with work already, getting ready for the long, I think it's the long Christmas weekend, and all the rest of it, and probably going on leave. So probably people are sleeping in. I just want to say I apologize if my glasses start fogging up, simply because it is humid in here, man. I thought I was going to cuss. I'm sweating, bro. Sorry if my glasses start fogging up. Anyway, let's get into the devotion. The title of today's devotion is called What Obedience Should Look Like. And so when I think about the word obedience, like the first thing that comes to my head is the laws, and following law and obeying the law, and I guess the consequence or the result of following the law is like it shows itself from how obedient you are. So if you obey the law, then that'll show. If you break the law, then also that will show in how you break the law. But it's interesting on what that looks like, what obedience should look like, and what the actual law is, because the way that we follow the law also reflects what we believe the law to be. If we believe the law to be commandments, the commandments of God, then it'll reflect in how we obey the law. We won't kill, we won't steal, we won't cheat, and we will love God. We'll keep we won't covet and all these kind of things, because we believe that they're the laws and we will follow these laws. And it's pretty simple. For me, it's pretty simple until we start thinking that the laws are everything, that everything is built on these laws. And so we turn those laws into a whole set of do's and don'ts, right? And it's fairly fair reason why, because in our 10 commandments, it's a lot of do's and don'ts. It's do this, honor your father, honor your mother, don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie, don't, so these do's and don'ts. But it's interesting when it comes to what obeying those laws look like. I feel that I have missed a massive step, and the step is what the foundation of those laws are built on. And if it's built on God's authority, then I would say we should stick to it very rigidly. And I'm not saying that we don't. I think we should, but how we do it may look differently. If it's built on just God being a God of authority and a God of power, and that's it. Hey, good morning, my sister. Wait, you're not in Sydney, Australia. Are you in Canada? Anyway, bless you. Hope you have a great Christmas. Hope you have a great, festive season celebrating with the fams. Anyway, back to the devotion. Like, if we believe that God is establishing these laws just to flex his authority, you are in Sydney. Wait, who am I looking at? See, the Instagram thing is so small. I'm probably thinking of someone in Canada. My apologies. So if we think that God has created these laws just to flex his authority, just to flex his power, then we will we will obey them accordingly. Yeah. Good morning, Bullet Attractor. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Oh no, I hope you're okay. I hope you and the business and the family are going to be okay. All the best with the COVID test pre-Christmas, um, and hopefully the queue's not like super duper long because those ones can get very very frustrating. For those of you like if you have no patience like me. Anyway, yeah. So going back to it, if you believe that God has created these laws just to flex His authority, then I believe that we will obey accordingly, right? Because then, if there's a God that says, "I'm all powerful and I have set these laws," and you follow these laws, or else, then I would say the consequence of that is that we will obey the law out of fear, and we will be driven out of fear to obey those laws. Is it good? Is it bad? That's not up to me to say. But what I would like to explore this morning is if we understand the true intention as to why God established these laws for us to obey, will we or would we then obey them differently? Would it look differently? What would obeying the law look like? And so I want to go to the passage found in Hebrews chapter 4. Oh, I'm wrecking my stuff. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 20 to 21. And then it says, obedience by faith, right? And for me, what this shows me is not the fact that, nothing new, but it gives me that secret missing link or secret missing step for me to understand the intention behind the laws. And so what it looks like afterwards, or the manifestation of us keeping the laws out of obedience, what that actually looks like. And by the way, I was the one that introduced the word law into this topic, right? Because all I wanted to do is explore what obedience should look like. Yeah. Let's look at Hebrews chapter 4, verse 20 to 21, and see what it says. It says, and the title of it is obedience by faith. I like that. It says, if anyone says, I love God and hates his brother, he's a liar. If he who does not love, if someone says, I love God and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he who does not love his brother whom he has seen, how can he love God whom he has not seen? And this commandment we have from him, that he who loves God must love his brother also. So for me, the way that I understand this passage, and I'm so sorry for the way that I've read it, because I'm still trying to get used to the New King James Version, right? King James is hard enough, so I'm not even going to step foot into that area. But the New King James, it blows up the passage and it adds things. It doesn't add things. It kind of it explains it a certain way where other versions don't. And I really am starting to learn how to read it in this one, but the way that I read it is trash. So I just want to say apologies. That's why I put the passage out there. Read it for yourself. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 20 to 21. What I like about this is the simple one. It says, if someone says, I love God and hates his brother, he's a liar. If we're looking at the commandments, right? What's interesting is the foundation on which the commandments are built. If we see that God is, God's foundation is based on authority and fear, or motivated, if God's authority is based on authority alone, just power, just sheer power, then he doesn't care whether we respond out of fear. If we're motivated by fear, then he's like, okay, cool. But for me, it starts not making sense, because if God was only flexing his power, then it would start contradicting the way that we understand the commandments and the way that we reflect it to others. What I mean by that is the main thing for God in this passage is, how do you love? If someone says, I love God, and then hates his brother, he's like, okay, we've messed up something. Why? Because God is the source of love. Not only is he the source of power, but he is the source of love. And he's saying, if you say you love me, but then you hate your brother, something's wrong and you're a liar. And you're actually breaking one of the commandments. You're disobeying one of the commandments. It's broken, right? Because it doesn't work. Because the first thing you need to understand is, what are the laws built on? What are the foundations of these laws? And the foundation of these laws is built on a God whose character and his essence is love. And so he's saying the first and most important thing that will reflect on how you obey these laws is how do you love? If you say, oh, yeah, I love God, but then all of a sudden you hate someone, you hate your brother, then he's like, no, you've got it wrong. Because that means this can, like I always use this and this, right? What I mean by this is the relationship and the connection that we have with God. And this is the outward manifestation or the result of this, right? And so God is saying, if you say you love God, and so you say this is good, but this is broken, something's broken. And saying you hate your brother, something's broken, something's missing. And he's saying what it is that this is the thing that's broken, right? You're not obeying my laws. You're just obeying my laws in the limitation of what you think obeying my laws should be, right? The reason why I feel God is saying obedience of faith, and this is in the second verse, and it says, oh no, it's the second sentence. It says, for he who does not love his brother whom he has seen, how can he love God whom he has not seen? He's saying, if you don't trust that this is the source of your love, if you don't trust that this is the source of where you get your love and your ability to do this from, then of course it's going to be broken. Of course you're going to of course you're not going to love your brother. Of course you're going to hate your brother. Why? Because this is broken. He's saying, if you don't have this, if you don't get this right, if you don't have this, then obedience or obeying the commandments is futile, because this is not even going to work, because you can't even do this in your own strength, right? The only way that you can love your brother is if you love me and you have that source of love through me. Without me, you can do nothing, like he said so many times. And in that second passage, good morning, Ron. I hope you had a great weekend enjoying your birthday festivities, my brother. And if you just left just without saying hello, we got words. The second part is, and this commandment we have from him, the one who loves God must love his brother also. He's saying, for me, if you want to obey in faith. And what that faith should look like is trusting that you're getting a source of love from God. Right? That is the main thing. That's your starting point. He's saying, love God and have an experience of God. Because then once this is real and once this is true, then the natural result will be that you'll be loving your brother. You won't say you hate your brother. You'll actually love your brother. And that is being obedient to the law. Why? Because the main thing is, the main purpose of the law is not so you have to follow rules. The main purpose of the law is for us to ensure that we have a good connection with God. And I see the law as this kind of gauge meter, right? I'm saying, how good is my relationship with other people? How good is my relationship with, or my ability to be patient and forgiving and loving and kind and gentle and all these things to other people? And if it's not good, then I've already broken the law of love, and I've already broken this, right? And so for me, I'm like, I can't obey the law in my own strength. I need this. I need God to get me through. I need God to help me or to be in me so I can love. And that's a good check for me. And so that what I appreciate this morning in my daily devotion is the fact that God's reminded me that it's like, Beez, it's not about do's and don'ts. It's not about you have to follow my law or else. Because he's not a God, he's not just the God of authority, an all-powerful God, but he's an all-loving God. And that's what his foundation is built on. And he's saying to me, the way that you will be obedient to the law is if you have faith in me. The way that you will be obedient to these laws is not in your own strength, but the strength that I give you to love your brother, right? To love your sister, to love the ones that you actually hate, right? As soon as we start using the word hate, right? As soon as we hate, and I hate my brother and stuff like that, God's already said, you've already broken the law. Why? Because the obedience is not out of faith. The obedience is out of probably fear, or the obedience is probably out of, I hate to say the word, but the obedience is probably out of ignorance, because it's like, oh, we need to do this, this, this. I've checked these off the list, but I still hate my brother. God has said, it's not working. What you need is to obey me, trust in me, rely on me. That's why it's called obedience of faith, right? Not checking the boxes and not the do's and the don'ts. God is saying, Obey me out of faith, and I will give you the power, the authority. I will give you the everything that you need to help love your brother as a natural result of this. So that's what I wanted to kind of share with you this morning. Yeah, for the people that stuck around, Nancy and Bullet Attractor, I just want to say massive thank you. But also for the people who are watching afterwards in the future, I hope God gives you a blessing. If you have journeyed in your life, and I guess this is the word of encouragement. If you've journeyed in your life and you've been motivated by fear to obey the law, I would highly encourage you to go and connect with God in prayer and ask God, how do you want me to obey these laws? I guarantee you, he'll say, through faith, mate. If you have faith, he'll respond in faith. He'll say, hey, you know what? Just do this more. Do this more. Don't worry about the do's and the don'ts. Don't worry about am I making the checklist? Don't worry about the ultimatum. Don't worry about any of that, because if we start to worry about that, it's all going to fall apart. We won't have the natural result to love people. We will have the natural result to hate people. And God is saying, what I want you to do is have more of this. And the natural byproduct, the natural consequence, the natural result is that you will love. And that's what you will show. For the people who are on Instagram, Twitch, and Facebook, it seems like because of the light situation, the camera is going in and out of focus. So apologies for that. I'm going to close in prayer. But yeah, I hope that God was able to give you a word of encouragement and a word of support today, for those of us who may be struggling with obeying the law, and obeying the law of love. Let's have a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this morning and another opportunity to reconnect with you, another opportunity to explore you, another opportunity to get an experience of who you are. And Lord, I pray that you remind us that though you are a God of power, you are not a God who flexes your power and says, I need, I want, and you ought to, without the foundation of love. Thank you for reminding us that you are a God who is built on the essence of love. And thank you for reminding us that our gauge in regards to our obedience to the law is how we love. And so, Lord, I just pray that when we struggle to love, when we struggle to do the things of love, patience, tolerance, understanding, compassion, mercy, grace, forgiveness, when we struggle in that, may you use that as an indicator to say that something's broken, and it's probably our relationship with you. So come back into our lives, come back into our hearts and our minds, cleanse us, purify us, reconnect and reconcile with us, so we can have a deeper understanding of you. And the natural result of that is our obedience to the law of love. I pray that you be with us today in this humidity in Sydney. I ask this all in your loving name. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Nancy, on Instagram, I think it's Bullet Attractor, on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube live. I will see you tomorrow, perhaps for the last one for this year, or for the last one over this holiday break. So tomorrow 9:00 might be my last one. Once again, with my attitude of gratitude on a Friday. Is it Friday tomorrow? I don't know. It's already gone. Anyway, I got to head to work. In the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace out. Much love. Bye.